Welcome to Next Level Home Experts with Boss Services. This is the show that helps you take your home to the next level. Your complete source for all your home questions, featuring in-depth interviews with the best home services experts in the industry. And now, your hosts, Boss Services owners and authors, Jeff and Jerry Street.
All right, welcome to Next Level Home Experts, brought to you by Boss Services.
Episode 7.
Number 7. Home storage ideas to get more out of the space you have. Our guest today is Heather Fedewa, owner, operator, manager, general do everything with the Eccentric Closet in Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting.
We're going to get into some closets. We're going to talk about a lot of things. I'm not, trying to oversell this episode, but we're going to get into a lot of things that you didn't even know you needed.
You had no idea.
Yeah.
You had no
sitting
idea.
here right now and you're just like, I don't need anything in closets. I don't need to organize my life. I am solid gold.
No, you're wrong.
Yeah. Completely wrong.
You're completely wrong. You're going to want to stay tuned for this one.
This is going to be nail-biting, edge of the seat conversation coming up. And I am not overselling at all.
No, it's every bit of that. So strap in.
Yeah. So welcome to the show, Heather.
Thank you. Thanks
Super
for having
excited. Me. Kind of a niche market. Everybody has storage problems and you're out there solving them. So how did you get into closet organization?
So we do custom closets, but we also do pantries, garages, the whole. You think about the home, you think about the home edit, and we can cover the space. I had been I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I had been a professional organizer in the area, and I had 3 months of nothing but closets on the floor. And closets were my least favorite thing to organize on the entire planet. Nobody wants to get rid of their designer clothes. Yeah. You know exactly how much everything is worth in your closet. You've handpicked out literally everything, and more than likely, you don't want to let it go. Yeah. So it was really hard to purge a closet. And then these little 1/8-inch screws that maybe did or didn't hit a stud and were clearly improperly put up to begin with, weren't serving my clientele. And so one day I came home and my husband was in the kitchen and I said, "Hey, if I sell a closet, will you install it for me?" And he said, "Sure." And 12 hours later, I sold a closet and the Eccentric Closet was born. We were busy from that point on. Yeah. It didn't take a whole lot.
Yeah. And I mean, I came across you on Facebook in one of the, Kalamazoo groups, and I thought, wow, this is something that I never thought of. And there's just so many, there's so many things out there like that I've never thought of that is a need, and I think just organization is one of them.
I think that if you offer something that someone doesn't want to do on their own, you're in business. Just plain and simple. It doesn't matter how untouchable it is, how tangible it is. It doesn't matter if it's a product, doesn't matter if it's a service. If somebody doesn't want to do it themselves, you have an opportunity for success, especially in our Southwest Michigan area.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What is your biggest lead? What do you look at the most? What do people call you for the most?
People call us for closets the most.
Is it the closets? Because, you said you organize everything, but the closets are the driver behind that.
For sure. Yeah. And I would say primary closets are the biggest driver. There's a trend happening right now where people want to get rid of their furniture and have a more open or even smaller master bedroom. And with that comes a larger closet and a bigger need for drawers, shelving, thoughtful hanging situations. And then people usually come back to us for their garage. That's our number one comeback.
That makes a lot of sense. You took care of my closet and now look at this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Go take care of this garage. I'll see you in a couple months.
Right.
Put that car on a shelf.
Totally possible.
Yeah. See, we were just talking about car storage the other day.
Yeah, absolutely. That might be a need. We might talk later.
So what's the process if somebody calls you and says, so let's talk closets then, master bedroom. So somebody says, my closet's a mess. I got stuff on the floor piled up in the corner. What's the process?
And we make it as simple as possible. If you don't want me to come into your mess, then I just ask you to go ahead and take some quick rough measurements. Come on into the showroom. We'll toss it up on the CAD system. You can choose your finishes and everything that you desire off of your Pinterest board, and we can go ahead and get you a really clear estimate at the time of your appointment. I would say that's the number one way people go about it. I think that just in the last year or so, it's a new trend that people don't want services in their house right off the bat unless they feel like they're going to go ahead with the service. And so for us, the showroom is the easiest way for people to start a project. The other option would be I come to you.
Yeah, we feel that. So us being in the service business, it's a privilege to be in someone's home. You're in their space.
Absolutely.
You have to respect that as their space. It's private, right? That's their home. And I've been in the service business for 29 years this year, and so you meet all kinds of people, and some people are more private than others. So I think that is a great option for you to bring them into your showroom and be able to, you provide the estimate on the spot from your showroom.
Right.
Yeah, that's amazing. Because we just physically, a lot of the services that we provide, we can't do that. We have to go see still what's going on, and it can be invasive, so that's
sure.
Amazing. Yeah.
Well, and so let me caveat that, we do need to come and measure the space.
Yeah.
There's no purchase that doesn't happen physically in your home.
Right.
So when you're ready for your closet, you'll know everything that needs to happen prior to us coming in to actually physically install it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that makes sense. So I mean, it's great though. You can get some rough measurements, go touch and feel and all that good stuff in the showroom, and then come out with the price. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it.
Thanks.
So what's the number one thing if you had to pick? I don't know if this is even a question that's answerable. If you had to pick, what's the number one thing that you would do to a closet to increase storage space in it?
I think it's just vertical space, and closets are used incorrectly. They're used horizontally, and generally, you've got a cleat and a bar. You've got a shelf, a cleat,
right,
and a bar. And most people don't necessarily know what that cleat's there for, but just be happy that you've got it and not those 1/8-inch little screws hanging on your wire.
Yeah.
And that wire does keep me in business. So there is that. But the majority of the time, during the build process, you've got a budget, and the closet doesn't necessarily have a budget attached to it, and it's got a budget for maybe a bar and maybe that cleat and maybe that shelf. And so it's not a well thought out space prior to you moving in and going, do I have space, or can I make this work? And it was my job previously to make that space work for you, and now I get to make the space work for what you own, and that's so much more fun.
Yeah.
Do you ever run into an issue where the closet just physically isn't large enough? Do you expand at all, or do you do any of that kind of construction?
So we have a handyman on staff, and he really loves 1-day-ish projects. And so if I see an opportunity to bump out a closet for a true need, then that is absolutely something that has happened. We stay in our lane, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So you give me walls and I'm going to make them work, or you give me house plans and I'll tell you why your walls aren't going to work for what they're asking for.
Right.
And so it can be very helpful on both ends. It's very useful to ask the closet designer if what you desire actually fits into the space in which you're building. Because I'm stuck with physics as soon as they actually exist.
And that's a super. I'm glad you brought that up, because my wife and I are working with an architect right now on a remodel, and I never even would have thought of that. To go to the closet organizer with the plans to talk about the pantry, the closets in the bedrooms, the garage, and all that. So I think that's an amazing thing that probably a lot of people don't think about when they're building their home. So yeah. That's awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, it's something to be considered for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a closet on our plans, and we have given it almost no thought other than, that should be big enough for what we need. We'll figure it out later. And Yeah. So
I have to imagine that's so common. Like you said, like that's going to be one of the last rooms you think about.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
Well, and is it even a room, right? When you're not even considering that, I wouldn't think.
Well, in our previous conversation just being that you can't actually move into your house. You can't get the permit to move in without having your closet installed. So, is it a room? Well, a lot of the houses I'm in, some of these closets are house size.
Sure. Sure. Absolutely.
So some of them are beyond a room. And there is definitely a trend happening these days that when you have a child move out and go on to college, that their bedroom turns into the master closet of your dreams. Yeah. So, keep that in mind too. So a lot of these spaces are rooms to be considered.
Well, so let me ask you about that, because I have an empty bedroom in my house since my daughter moved out a couple of years ago, and my wife and I have been looking at that, and she has not allowed me to demo that thing because in her mind, a 3-bedroom house is worth more than a 2-bedroom house. And I could care less. Like I say, use that space. This could be a master bathroom and a closet and all of that. We are not having any more kids. The 2 is it. And so, I mean, do you have that conversation with people? Does that come into play a lot?
For sure. It's, it's truly a matter of opinion as to whether or not you're going to stay in a house and how many bedrooms that house needs in order for it to move on to a new owners, right? But what I can say is that we do Murphy beds. And so if you truly have a bedroom in which you'd like to turn into a closet, we can do that in a really thoughtful way without losing the bedroom function of the actual space. And, and going ahead and organizing the original closet inside of that bedroom can be very helpful. But as soon as we start, thinking like, hey, we really want a grand bathroom, and then what is going to be left over for the closet, that's when I really ask that you talk to the closet designer if you're really trying to maximize functionality, in regards to, are we keeping it a potential bedroom space? Mm-hmm. Because I can tell you beds need space.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what we found.
Yeah. I mean, man, Murphy beds are a whole nother conversation. And I haven't really thought much about that. I mean, I have a room that we're building as an office, and my wife and I talked about a Murphy bed so it can, double as a room if needed. And like, that's another
good solution.
Great solution. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's huge because you can put a wardrobe on either side of a Murphy bed and, use it for your own storage or allow guests to go ahead and use it. Right. And then you can drop down a desk in any configuration you'd like right next to it and call it a home office. And, it is my job to help you visualize how you want that to look when your guests come over and actually physically use the Murphy bed. The Murphy beds they are something. Let's put it that way. The amount of material that goes into a Murphy bed is just like, it's jaw dropping. But steel frame, the whole gamut. Right. We only deal in quality goods, so it's quite the venture. It's a full day installation.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just this short conversation we've had so far. My wife and I have been remodeling for 6 years, and we talk about things, but like we've already talked about things that we haven't even thought of, and we've been tossing ideas back and forth for 6 years. So I think this just highlights the importance of bringing somebody that specializes this.
I was just thinking that. Like, so we live in a do it yourself world right now, right? Like everybody, we think we know what we want, and then you get halfway through the project and you're like, what are we doing here? Why didn't, and we're all guilty of it. So again, Jeff and I being in the home service business, we do a lot of different services. We understand the importance of talking to somebody that knows what they're talking about, but yet we're quick to run out and still do these mistakes that everybody else does, right? Like, well, let's just tear this wall down and we'll figure it out later. And
Totally.
Oh, there's design work that should happen. Got it. We can think ahead.
Wait a minute. What is the ripple effect on what we've just done?
Absolutely.
I'm with you guys. We bought our house 6.5 years ago or so, and 20-year-old house. It needs X, Y, and Z. And you go, oh, I need a new front door. And how long should that take? Well, I can tell you it got a little breezy. But it's that way with most things. I would say DIYing a closet, which is totally something that is part of our services, right? Which is just simply come on in, we'll design it out for you. You want to buy the material at XYZ cost and sign off on that it's a DIY project. We'll get you the material. Like we'll make this happen, right? Most people don't desire that. Not when we can bring a walk-in closet to fruition within a day. It's just a well-oiled machine. We show up and you get to use your closet as soon as we leave.
Yeah.
Well, that's the key to it. You're providing a service just like any other service. And can you do it yourself? Sure. Yeah. But what's your tolerance of timing, right? What's your pain point of actually doing the work? That's all of that.
Yeah, but it's just simply one of those incredibly time consuming.
It is.
And then also quality of goods are not what's available to you in big box stores, DIY spaces, is not what we're dealing in here.
Right.
Yeah. So good custom cabinetry is worth the investment.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So how busy are you guys? How if someone wanted a closet project done, what's the timeline from start to finish, from design to getting it done?
So you show up at the showroom tomorrow because you're super excited.
Yay.
As of today, we're about 7 weeks out on projects.
Yeah.
Which is great in comparison to the 14 weeks that we were out in the last January. So we design them, we get them ordered, we get them manufactured, we get them on hand, and we're not going to show up until we have absolutely everything you need in order to have a functional closet.
Right.
It's the secret sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can get in and out and not be evasive. Yeah. Yep. Nice. Perfect.
So we talked about, the bedroom closet quite a bit. So you also do, obviously you talked about at the beginning, you do garages and kitchens and pantries and just any type of organization. So I guess what do you do for a kitchen? Like, I think a common problem in kitchens is pantry space. So if you don't have a dedicated pantry, like what kind of things do you do for kitchens?
Well, so we can create a closed storage, an extra deep closed storage. We can do beach doors behind doors. I can do custom drawers and doors on anything. So if it's just kind of like, okay, well, we have this weird space that's just truly unusable, and I'm a person who's going to walk in and say, you know what, you're talking to the wrong gal, and I think that you really need a kitchen redesign in order to make this what you're asking for. And on the other hand, there's a trend in pantries right now. So if you have a newer built home, you've got the Superman pantry. It's a triangle-ish type of item, a type of shape of a pantry. And we have one of those built out in the showroom so that you can walk right into it and see what we can actually physically accomplish and make usable. And what's unique about ours is that we've got a refrigerator built into that. We've got a cooler built into that. And so you're able to really see how your wine storage or, your beer refrigerator is going to actually physically work inside of your Superman pantry. And then other people are like, okay, well, we saw what you did with our closet. We're going to go ahead and bump out a pantry into our garage and or whatever space. Yeah. And we'll go from there. And again, that's one of those conversations that we just have before you go break it into the wall.
just rip out the wall and then call.
That's what I would do. Yeah. Just rip the wall out and then say, sorry, I started here.
Sorry, not sorry.
So let's talk about garages. What are some of the common things that you're doing in garages to save space?
Oh, man. Well, so Swiss Trex flooring is is huge. So when, if we're talking about people who appreciate their vehicles and they don't love the mud that's readily available here in Southwest Michigan, we've got breathable flooring that can be installed. Again, it's a single day installation. In any, if you're, let's just say third stall in your garage, and you've got a really nice vehicle or a really nice motorcycle that you want to keep up off the floor, but you don't necessarily want to put it on a shelf. And then from there, we've got cabinetry. So we've got blind cabinetry so that we can use corner spaces and extra deep. For our garages, our standard is 1-inch shelving, which is quite a big difference in comparison to other things being installed in garages, because we understand the utilitarian need for a garage. And of course, we've got slat wall, but our slat wall isn't, our old school slat wall. It is 100% recycled, and it's going to have more of a PVC look feel to it, so that you're not just snapping off the slats in the physical wall. I would say the number one thing that people don't know that they want, and then they have it, and they're like, how did I ever live without this, is something as simple as a paper towel rack on that slat wall.
Yes.
So, you go into your cabinet in your garage, you're grabbing out the spray to clean your car, and where is the paper towel? And then you're trucking through the house. This really basic, fun, fairly inexpensive in the scheme of the overall project, little add-ons that can just make life easier.
Yeah, it's the little things that you don't think about. Yeah.
There's so many things that I don't know how I didn't live without before.
Yeah.
When you're 20 and didn't know anything, and now you're not, and you learned. And you're like, I'll never go backwards, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know that you get into this or not, but here's where my mind is going. Do you ever get into any man cave type situations, or maybe some she sheds or something like that? Is that something that this kind of, because I don't know, my mind is going down the road of this space that isn't necessarily, we're talking about garages,
closet,
right? Or a garage, yeah, right. So I don't know, is that in your wheelhouse at all? Do you ever get involved in anything like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, well, I would say, right now a trend is your clawfest. So you're turning your closet into an office. People have got these she sheds, he sheds. So these little mini houses being dropped off in their backyard, and instead of putting livestock into them, they are putting themselves into them with a laptop. And so, how do we make it CEO pretty? Well, we're gonna do a custom office in a she shed, or an office situation where you're using that shed for an office situation. Or we're going to really thoughtfully design it out in order to be, garage on one side, and then whatever your hobbies happen to be on the other.
Yeah.
Just usable space, right?
That's what it's all about. Yeah. There you go. Did we talk about service area?
Not yet.
Okay.
No.
Let's do it.
What? Maybe we did. I don't know. Did we talk about service area?
I think that was before the show.
Probably. Maybe. So what's your service area? How far do you go?
So we're located at just off Stadium Drive in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and we go. It's like a 40-mile radius, all the way out to Lake Michigan, down to Granger, over to Battle Creek, and up as far as Byron Center.
Yeah.
So if somebody is interested, how do they reach out to you? Showroom location, phone numbers, websites, all that good stuff?
All those things. So we've got a website, and it's super easy. Eccentriccloset.com.
Oh man, hold on.
Let's keep this really,
write that down.
Right? It's really, really simple.
Yeah.
So theeccentriccloset.com, probably the easiest way to get a hold of us. You're going to get a form that pops up right then and there. You can just go ahead and fill out your name, your telephone number, your email address, and we're going to get back to you within 24 hours. When I say we, it's going to be me. I really, we're busy enough that I can take care of, you're going to be talking directly to me, and then everyone else who works with me is going to bring your organization solution to life very smoothly.
Perfect. Well, is there anything we didn't touch on? Is there anything else that you would like to add? Anything that you do? Anything we didn't talk about?
Gosh, that's a lot of pressure.
Right?
Yeah.
I know it. You didn't see that one coming?
I think that we covered it. The Eccentric Closet takes care of your organization needs, things that you haven't thought of or didn't realize that you wanted.
That's 100% right there. Taking care of the things you didn't know you wanted.
Yeah. That's what I learned.
That's what I learned too. Yeah. Don't rip a wall down until you call Heather. That's what I learned today.
Yeah.
Thank
Don't
you.
build your house before you call. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, perfect. Well, thanks for coming in. And I think that's all good information. And you guys are really serving a great service for our community.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks. I appreciate your time.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks for listening to Next Level Home Experts with Boss Services. We hope you enjoyed this episode and learned some useful home tips along the way. If you found this episode valuable, please do us a favor and share it with others. And of course, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And as always, if you have a home topic you'd like us to explore, email us at info@bosshvac.com. That's all for this episode. See you next time.